Yo, what's good, yo? Vlog number 12. And I'm just gonna jump right into this thing right here. Um, well, the topic of conversation today, continuity. Yeah, for those of y'all who know about that terminology, usually it's associated with comic books. For those of y'all who know about that, well, y'all already know. For those of y'all who don't, now you know. Well, this is something that I definitely wanted to get into because not only does it apply to comics, it applies to TV, it applies to music, it applies to, well, everything. You get the gist. You get the drill of all that. It applies to everything. It applies to everything. And since I'm gonna go back on the subject involving music, continuity wise, I definitely wanted to talk about how you should be able to work with the material that you got in terms of how you're going to present it, how you're going to represent it, and how you're going to carry yourself as far as the content that you provide for people. And that's something that's always been in the back of my brain for me, because I always try to keep that in mind, that if I'm trying to go in for the long haul, I got to be able to come out with content that people can still get a chance to see, listen to, visualize, and stuff like that. That it doesn't get stale. That it doesn't feel like as if, okay, people are getting bored with it now. Even due to the topics that, yeah, we all can easily talk about the same stuff, but it's a matter of how you bring it up. It's how you say it. It's how even those same topics can have a continuation as to how much it grew in terms of pop culture, in terms of what we deal with in this world today, because there's a lot more to it than just one thing. It's a branch of many other things to happen within those same topics. So even when we do talk about the same thing, there's always something new to pop up with it. So there's always a time when it's like, oh, okay, this is something that I'm interested in to talk about, because there's gonna be more things to talk about even on the same topics. There's gonna be more things eventually. So in terms of continuity, to be able to create your content, create your material where you can point those situations out, you can point those factors out, where it's not just one thing, it's a branch of everything surrounding that. So when you get when you get on that topic again, then it's like, oh, right, this is something new to build on. There's something more to it, so that way it won't be stale. It won't sound like it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing. Can you stop talking about this now? No, there's gonna be more reasons to talk about the same topics. It's gonna be a whole lot more. So in terms of being able to continue your work so that you can still leave an impact no matter how much you put out there, that you can make an impact in a way that you were able to do something that you was able to put your mind to, something that you was able to put your heart and soul into, that when you're very passionate about it, you want to talk about it, you want to discuss it, you want to say something on that. You want to say something. You trying to have a statement. You got to have a statement on something. You trying to show people that you have your own opinion about whatever it is that we hear of nowadays, that we see nowadays, So in terms of being able to create your material, music, writing, it's got to be something that can grab people no matter how many times you bring it up, because like I said, there's always going to be something new to bring to the table. It's a matter of how you're able to utilize it. See, that's a word that I always love to say, to keep in mind, because when I hear that word, when I say that word, it means a lot to me. It's important to know that when you utilize something, that means you know your strengths, you know the potential that you have to be able to make that impact, to be able to make that statement, for you to be able to say what's on your mind, so that it's not like you're sounding like you're trying to take it from somebody else. Then you got to get into the whole heated debate as to who said it better. It's not about that. It's about being able to utilize that in your own way. Don't sound like everybody else. Make it your own. Make it your own, even though it is a topic that people are familiar with. See, that's what I tend to do when it comes to writing my craft, my material, my whenever I start working on new poems, all of that, I tend to keep that in mind. Utilize what I have. Utilize the info that I have and make it my own. That is something people are familiar with, but they're hearing it from me. They're hearing it from my perspective, my point of view on it. That's the thing I emphasize a lot. So this is just me trying to make sure that y'all understand that whatever piece of poetry I put out, whatever piece of music I put out, whatever it is that I do, is something that y'all can relate to, is something that y'all are familiar with, but you're hearing it from me. I'm not trying to take it from anybody else. I'm not trying to sound like anybody else. I'm trying to be me. I'm trying to sound like me. That's all I can be. Me. So when it comes to my material, I'm giving y'all that. I'm giving you all of me. So yeah, the whole idea of two minds, one goal, that's the purpose of it all. What you see in front of you is the persona, and then you have, no, not the persona, my fault, y'all. The visionary, right? What you see in front of you right now is the visionary, meaning like, I'm strategizing, I'm planning. The persona is meant to be the one who executes the plan, right? Two minds. That's the part of the two minds right there. One goal, meaning it's the same mindset. It's the same mindset. It's the same outcome that should be mentioned every time. And yeah, it does get mentioned, but it needs to be mentioned a lot more than that, so that people can stop getting distracted by all the glamour, by all the flashy, flaunting, live fast, die young lifestyle and stuff. Like, take a moment to pump the brakes on that and think about the real as to what's going on in this world around all of us, as individuals, as people together. That's it. You know, that's what I'm talking about right there. Utilizing the material you have so that you can make it yours, and it's still the same topics that people can relate to, that people can actually have a discussion about, that it doesn't always have to get into a heated argument about it, that we can all be civilized about it, that we can all agree to disagree and respect that. We all got different points of views on things. It doesn't always have to get crazy like that. So when it comes to continuity, it's about being able to continue on without being stale. That you start to sound like as if you ain't got it like you used to. Because that always tend to be the thing to pop up in people's minds, you know. When you've done it for years, decades. You know, if you was going to do it for that long, 20 years, 30 years, people still wonder if you got it. if you still got it from when you were a youngin' to the point where you're living your life, you're an adult, and you're trying to live to your last breath. You trying to make amends for the mistakes you've made in life. You know, with that being said, it's like people always wondering, do they still have it? Do they still got it in? Do they have it in them at all? Do they still have it in them? If they do, then that means, regardless of how it was when they were younger, you know, as people get older and they still feel like they got it in them, let them have it. Just let them have that. Let them have that. That means they were able to continue on, build a legacy around that, and still try to come out with some new stuff. Why? Because they feel they still got it in them. It's a matter of being able to pump the brakes instead of trying to get everything out all at once. See, that is when you start to sound stale. At least for me, that's how I see it. That's when you start to sound stale. That's when you start to look stale. When you try to put everything out all at once. Instead of utilizing it, you're not taking the time to do that. You're just putting it out there. It's like you're half-assing everything. You shouldn't be doing that to yourself, because then it's like you're useless to the public eye. People are going to look at you like, who are you again? And even if people still know who you are, people are not going to look at you as the person that you were. People are going to look at you for what you've been doing these days. It is what it is. That's how it is right now. And that's the point that I'm trying to get across to y'all, that in order to be able to continue what you got going on, take your time. So yeah, if you got a hit on your hands, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's acting, modeling, whatever it is that you do, if you are a hit, if you got a hit on your hands, cool. But be sure to preserve what you got. Preserve that potential that you got. Because if you don't, and you try to put everything out so fast, you're not going to get it like you used to. You're not going to get it like you used to. And you're selling yourself short as well. You're selling yourself short. That if you're going to put everything out there that fast, then it's like you're begging for people to say, look at me, I'm trying to be famous. Don't do that shit. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. You don't need to do that. You don't need to put that kind of pressure. You don't need that kind of attention on yourself like that. When you know you got it, you got it. But it's a matter of being able to take time in between those times, so when you come up with new material, it sounds good. It still sounds fresh. And even when it's topics that's so familiar to people that, yeah, we heard this before, make it your own so that you can still make an impact. And if you're going in for the long haul, that's how it's supposed to go down. Instead of trying to get it out there that fast, take your time. Take your time with it. Space out that time to work on your material and slow down a minute. Don't let the fame get to your head, because when you do make that fame, like I said, utilize. Utilize. That's the key word, people. Utilize. Take your time. Take your time. Because when you know if you're going to have a hit on your hands, let that marinate. Let that marinate. Let that register for people in their brains that, okay, I can see this person for what they're trying to do. I hope to see that they can do more with what they got. That's what you want out of this whole thing. That's the response you want. Because that's the response that I want. For what I'm trying to do, that's the response I want. And y'all know this already. Y'all know this already. But y'all also know that I'm taking my time with it. I'm not trying to rush anything because it is a process. Not everything is going to be done overnight. It's not going to happen like that. It's not going to happen like that. Sure, it is taking a little bit longer than I hope. But I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to appreciate what I got right now and build on it. That's what continuity means. That's what it means. Being able to build on what you got so far and make it better. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I just want y'all to pay attention to that, because you allow the fame to get to your head, you're selling yourself short. When you know you got that potential in you, when you know you got it, say it with me. Utilize. 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 And my prayers go out to everybody who's doing that right now, who's trying to do that right now. My prayers go out to everybody who's doing that. Alright? My prayers go out to all of y'all who's doing that right now. For those people out there that's trying to make a living the right way, trying to make a living where you can actually say that you've accomplished something and that you were able to build on that because of that. You took your time. You managed it. You managed to pull it off. I appreciate y'all. I respect y'all to do something like that. I respect that. And I'm about to end this video right now, but real quick though, I definitely want to give a shout out to Prodigy from Mobb Deep. Now, that's definitely a legacy to hold on to right there, because that was a rap group that I was interested in when I first heard about them. Ever since that hit song Shook Ones, they got a couple songs that I loved, that I liked. They had a couple songs. They had a couple songs, man. But Shook Ones, that's the joint that got me. That's the joint that got me. But even with every other song that they put out there, Prodigy especially, they were able to talk about the real, and even when they repeat that same topic, it's something fresh to come along with it with every song they put out there. That's the kind that I'm talking about. That's the kind of music I'm talking about. That's the kind of writing I'm talking about. That's the kind of, well, everything that I'm talking about right there. Shout out to Prodigy right there. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. And I hope for that legacy to continue on, because I'm pretty sure it will. I'm pretty sure it will, because it is hard to accept the fact that, well, it happened. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. You know, I mourn for those who passed away, even for celebrities, especially those that I looked up to, that I listen out for, that I'm watching them for. Y'all know me. I do that. So shout out to him. Rest in peace to him. You know, I'm going to continue listening to their songs. I don't care. I'm going to continue listening to their songs, because they were one of the reasons to give me the inspiration to do what I'm doing right now. That's the thing I appreciate right there. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing and trying to build on that. So, of course, there was a lot more that passed away. There was a lot more, but Prodigy is the most recent one. I had to shout him out for that one. So, I'm going to end this video off, y'all. And again, I owe y'all this one because I was supposed to do it yesterday. But I had stuff to do. I had stuff to do, so I had to take care of all that. It's all good. As long as I give y'all this video that y'all understand what I'm trying to say here. And like I said, I appreciate y'all. For everybody out there who's trying to preserve that potential that they got within them, that they're trying to make good use of what they have and don't get it out there too fast. Take your time. Take your time, because that's what I'm doing. I'm taking my time. So when my time comes, I'm going to let that marinate for a little bit. That's what I'm planning on doing. That's what I've been planning on doing. So far, it's happening a little bit. It's progressing. But I'm trying to build on it. So that's that. So thank y'all for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell to be notified. Go down to the description box. Look at all the social media that I'm on. Follow me on all of that. Blue Flames the Poet, y'all. I'm out of here.